Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2. I just had a little bit of a hardware crash here, but I think everything's okay. All I did this turn was just move Tiktaq'to forward. You can see the Orcs of Clan Arachnos hate us very, very much. So I think it's a safe assumption that if we didn't do something about them now, they would come and kill us. So, best we do something now. Alright, we have some rights available. I mean, we don't really need to perform the Rite of Ferocity right now. We're getting closer and closer to the point where it makes sense for us to put another army together, but we're not there yet. So, these guys... I'm trying to, what do I want to do here? Exactly how do I want to do this? What I want to do is herd them into a corner. So maybe we get, over here? What I want to do is make it so that if they want to sail toward anything that matters at all, they have to sail around me and thus spend a bunch of movement, making it so that they cannot easily just sail out of range. And we'll have Krukgar's army still a little wounded. It would be kind of nice if we could sit in the settlement for one more turn. But the thing is, if I don't put him out in the water now, Marcus Van Stroll here is just going to sail this way and run away from us. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in the water. He can stay in a place where we're still gonna get some replenishment. His army is definitely more vulnerable to their composition though, right? Okay, they do have a lot of melee troops who won't be particularly strong. Well, maybe we could handle them. I'm gonna leave him in the settlement for another turn. Get that little bit more replenishment. What I really want from you is to continue running north. As much as we're getting a lot of value out of performing actions against these orc settlements over here, I really do want to know what's going on further north. We'll just head this way. I'm sure there are some more orc armies over here. Our settlement action is damage walls, so we cannot perform any hero action at all against a settlement that does not have walls. So we're hoping to catch some of these armies in our movement range. Okay, you are also just sort of generally heading north, and then we have a fair amount of money. Let's see, Numas is upgrading. Khemri's doing what Khemri does. How many turns are left on the Skaven Blade upgrade? Because that's pretty important. Ugh, 4. Man, it takes forever. Okay. I do want this upgrade pretty badly. We've never actually gotten an Ancient Salamander. It might be time to fix that soon. Alright, let's see what the Midlanders do with their moment of freedom here. Listen, if all they want to do is sail out to sea in this direction and allow us to push them further out, I guess that's good enough. We don't have any easily taken unwalled settlements along the coast or anything. So even if they were to try to strike back at us, it would take them a while to get anything done. We have time to respond. It's just really annoying that this northern army feels like it's both a good use of their time and also okay from a diplomatic perspective to just sail down here and harass me. And we have positive relations with a lot of the major players, so I think Midland is definitely putting themselves in some significant danger by actually doing anything militarily against us. Because there's a penalty for just being at war, and they're suffering that already from a whole lot of people. But actually getting anything done, killing anything or performing any hero actions, comes with additional modifiers. And maybe the case that diplomatically running around in our territory and occasionally raiding for a turn or two might be all they can get away with without losing friends or potentially putting themselves in danger of a war declaration from someone who's friends with us. The Warriors of Chaos seem to be getting stepped on a little bit, which is a good sign. Not necessarily one that will last, but it's a good sign for now. It means we can continue to focus our eyes down here. What I would really like to do with one of these scouts... What? I mean, no. Obviously no. But I guess tell me what it is first so that I can reject it properly. Yeah, what I would really like for one of these scouts is to actually make it all the way up to that northern area where the Chaos Spawn comes from. I do not think it is super likely that we will get that because there are going to be a lot of agents between here and there, but we're going to strike as north as we can. Oh, the Warriors of Chaos faction was formally destroyed. Okay, well that's a good thing for pretty much everybody. Yeah, look at them. They're running out here to perform hero actions on us. So we probably have to chase them at least one more turn, right? Just try to push them as far from our settlements as possible without getting ourselves horribly out of position. But I guess what I could do instead is just move Yarek's army so that it is in a position where it could still get back to Sartosa in a single turn's move if I have to, but also I'm as far south as possible so that I could sail through Alhaig up onto land and approach whatever the name of this little settlement is quickly. There's one over here that is unwalled. Try to find ourselves a good zone defense position, basically. Let's see how feasible that ends up being. Well, he really does always know exactly how far we will be able to move on our next turn. Unfortunately, I don't have nearly as good of a sense. Like, from right here. Can I get to Sartosa from right here? Maybe. Hard to say. I took a little bit of attrition damage sailing through there, but we'll be fine. And so I think I'm going to have Krukgar just head south. And the plan here is to have Krukgar hit Eye of the Panther while Yarek hits Martek. A lot of how this is going to go down is going to depend on those guys, though. Okay, let's do this thing. Granite Massif should be a pretty easy take. 7-unit garrison, the same army. Yeah, they're not hiring anything. Okay, we can see that most of this army is quite terrible against our army. This is a declaration of war. Actually, hold on. Encircle. Someone in this army has an unspent skill point. Should probably get that. Okay, you are rank 30. We have one more point of this that we could grab. Now we fight. It's possible I could auto-resolve this. Let's quick save and see what happens. Yeah, see, this is a really great example of that thing I'm always talking about. How? How would these guys die while nobody else took any meaningful damage? Okay. I am not actually down with that outcome. So as soon as it lets me access the escape menu, which is weirdly not a thing you can do during any of those screens, we're just gonna reload that quick save and apparently do it manually. Those red-crested skinks are like very high veterancy. They're actually very valuable troops. Okay, it looks like maybe the game has locked up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the red-crested skinks actually still have value for us. It is the case that there are some troops that the auto-resolver just does not like. Things that constantly die in auto-resolves, even when you win overwhelming victories. It may just be that any unit that has skink in the name is on that list of things that always die. And I mean, obviously, I don't mean always, because we have done auto-resolves where they survived. But conversely, there are also things that seem to never get killed by the auto-resolve, and actually Sauruses are on that list. An army that is mostly Sauruses is unbelievably powerful in auto-resolve, even if it would not do anything at all in the field. I wish I had a little bit better insight into the way the auto-resolver actually works, because it has a bunch of weird quirks like that. Alright, we will manually fight what should be a very easy battle. So they have some proper artillery. We gotta remember to set up a little bit more spread out than we otherwise would. Fortunately, they effectively don't have any ranged units, so we don't need to have our birds do anything other than immediately attack the catapult crew. Did the garrison have any ranged at all? It might actually just be these 2 units of archers here, and orc archers are remarkably bad at dealing damage. And pterodon riders are also very, very easy to kill. Whatever, I'm sure we'll be fine. Their low accuracy will be the death of them. That's not a terrible Winds of Magic, and trying to make sure that the fancy Fire Leech bolas are on both sides. So you gotta set up kind of spread out. Are these trees dense enough for me to hide these guys in? They totally are. Okay, I think having surprise cavalry is probably pretty valuable. Gotta make sure we are spread as thin as possible. It looks like they were already in the thinnest possible formation. And you know, we could probably actually use these chameleon skinks to just harass, because the orc units are a little bit on the slow side. Alright, where are the... Okay, the catapults are all the way in the back. And that's a pretty sensible place for them to be. So there were some additional enemies... there were some additional ranged units in the enemy garrison. So you have to be a little bit cautious. You should move. They're casting some kind of spell on you. And as ever... Okay. I kind of want to put these 2 in skirmish mode, but we've seen units in skirmish mode just decide that they want to do completely different orders than you told them to do, and there doesn't seem to be any way to stop that from happening. So probably what we'll try to do is just watch them and take care of them manually. The catapult crew is mixing in with a bunch of other units that could not be better for us. Hey, that was a pretty good start. Victory is in our grasp. Really? I know you guys are orcs, but come on, try a little bit. Alright, orcs have terrible leadership problems, so eliminating their lord would probably end the fight. There's like a non-zero chance that that's not even an exaggeration. So let's take that pretty seriously. Do we want to have somebody run over and drop a rock on these? Oh, those are normal goblin archers. No, I don't care about that. Let's just fly forward into the center of their formation and drop rocks on everybody. Okay, so we caught the other catapult crew with that. And then, there's not like a ton else that we need to do over here. Where's my caster? I'm going to summon a manticore on these dudes. I don't know if that's necessarily the best play, but it'll stop them from shooting at everybody else. Get a couple units of you guys. Just make sure that their ranged units are actually done for. Orcs kind of do the Skaven thing where they break and then come back and then break and then come back, but they don't do it nearly as well. I guess the trade-off for that is that they're competent at actual combat, at least some of the time. Should probably get you back over here. Oh, actually, here's what we'll do with you. So, cancel that manticore. Instead, let's get a nice fat crowcast. A lot of these orc units are exactly the kind of thing that are bad against the crows. Let's shoot a fireball at those archers. Yeah, our wizard's actually, like, extremely relevant here. Oh no, my hidden units were revealed! Alright, Spider Riders, I think, have moved out a little bit too far from the rest of their backup. We could probably just hit them with the Salamanders. And we do have more rocks. I may as well drop them. Like, we have enemies grouping up here. You're in a really good position to drop a rock right now. Yeah, as long as they're going to get this dense. I mean, nobody should be surprised, I suppose, when an orc is dense. Alright, you guys can bail. Well done. You don't need to endure a charge from the spider cavalry. You can fly. Okay, that worked out approximately the way we wanted it to. You guys just back off. I think we may have hit some flame shots on our own guys there. Don't worry, the Carnosaur will save you. You can see them turn and start fleeing. Okay, we probably want to retarget a little bit here. So over here you can see the catapult crew is coming back, but when artillery crew runs away, they leave their artillery stuff behind, so they have to make it all the way back over to their actual gear before they're going to be any danger to us at all. Which is to say, I am not concerned. Let's keep dropping rocks. We definitely still have lots and lots of rocks left. Okay, we do not want our Carnosaur to get completely surrounded by enemies. He's tough, but he's not invincible. See, our Manticore has already faded from existence. Did we finish their lord off? No, he is still alive. How is that? What's up with that? Why is that the case? Let's cast this on... They're just a little bit too spread out. What is this? This is just a unit of normal boys. They're not exactly terrifying. What I want to do is cast it on... Yeah, like the most central unit of Orc Biggins, I think, is our optimal target there. You two are doing some fine work, but maybe get the hell over here and help. Seems like a good time to fall back to the waiting arms of the rest of the army. Hey, salamanders. My salamanders are chasing a guy off the side of the map. I should probably stop them, especially since those guys are permanently broken now. Let's have the Carnosaur fall back to their warm, loving embrace. Okay, these guys are coming. Oh, that's the wrong button. There's a pretty dense formation right here. Yeah, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm, like, really shocked they're still fighting. I suppose it is the case that their lord is still technically alive. Are we almost done with that? Okay, 339. Yeah, he's about dead. So let's have you come over here. You have fireballs to shoot, and also, I guess, your own rocks to throw. And who has rocks left? You have some rocks left. Where are you, actually? Okay, you're, like, right there. Yeah, I definitely want to roll forward into these guys. Trying to also keep an eye on the salamanders, though. Hey, salamanders. Can't help but notice that you are not participating in the battle. So if that could change, that would be cool. There we go. Alright, I think we can probably expose our cavalry here. The fight's about to end. I'm keeping stuff in reserve far more than it needs to be kept in reserve just because there's not a whole lot of actually challenging stuff happening in this particular battle. It would be really nice if this was the kind of battle we didn't have to fight manually, because when we do, it's a complete rout. We probably killed more of our own guys than they did because of the explosions in the skinks. Let's see. We see here, it's hard to tell because there's 5 kills on this army, but then the garrison also probably got some. I doubt they got 12 between them, though. Alright, that's nice and easy, and that's another province under our control, because we already hold the major settlement in this area. And then I think we are just going to take the whole mountain range. Zorn is not helping us by sitting in that major settlement and blocking our control of this other province. And then we can consider what we want to do with the Dune Kingdoms from there. We don't necessarily have to kill them, but they are currently holding, I think, 2 entire provinces and then 1 settlement in one of our provinces, so we can definitely hit the number of total provinces we have to own just by finishing off the dudes in the desert down here. Of course, that said, it's still going to be the world capital cities. That's going to be our stopping block. That's a weirdly long load. Yeah, we could just occupy it. We don't need to damage it. Oh, got ourselves an administrator that... wow, that was a weird way to pronounce that. An administrator, which is actually a very useful follower. So, there we go. He is all spelled up. He knows all of his stuff now. Can we throw... Okay, Artifact Hunter, that's cool, that's useful. And I suppose you can have a man-spawn sacrifice as well. Just trying to make sure that we actually have that administrator equipped on as many people as possible. Alright, you have one. Yarrick, do you have one? You totally don't. Okay, that extra movement range is always useful. And actually, we should check in. Do we have a spare one for you? I don't believe we do. I think, yeah, we looked already. Okay, I'm pretty happy with his stuff then. Oh, we can just... I think we can just exactly reach them. Yeah, it looks like they're outside of the effect area, but when we hit the thing on them, we don't get any red arrow at all. The arrow's entirely yellow, which means we can do it in 1 turn. Probably we won't actually get anything done here, but people will appreciate that we tried. Alright, I mean, it's a failure, but we do get a level up out of it. And this guy, I guess, is just scouting out this war. Not the greatest thing for somebody of his particular skill set to be doing. Alright, now that we properly control Charnel Valley, we definitely do some of this. We can turn taxation back on, and in fact, could have done so quite some time ago. May as well upgrade this. We do not need one of these. Actually, a growth building would be really nice. There's also carved obsidian here. We'll get that under control soon. Actually, we can just cut this and put the obsidian thing there. Yeah, I think that's worth doing. If for no other reason than it allows us to upgrade the money building again. You have medicinal herbs. They reduce the recruitment cost for skinks. And eventually... okay. And it's a new trade good. That's one we don't yet have in our trade network. The Serpent Coast, unfortunately, has very, very little worth building. Growth here is 130 points per turn, which is not terrible. I think we probably don't need to build another growth building. So we could just do one of these. A nice cheap way to make sure that you are making more money. Well, we're definitely going to get this, man, 6 more Blessed Skink Skirmishers. What a terrible, terrible thing to have happened. So I'm not too worried about any of Clan Arachnos' armies. Even if they did come out of the mountain pass at us, like, where would they go at this point? I guess they could have this army, like, run down here toward Zorn, and then underway into the Southlands jungle, maybe? There is a limited distance you can use underway at. So, like, he doesn't have the ability to go from here all the way over to here in a single underway move, probably. But he might be able to do from here to there. So there is still some counterplay. If we can make it unsafe for him to go to the places where the mountains are narrow enough for him to move under, then we don't have to worry so much about defending the things to his southeast. But due to the fact that we had to walk all the way around the big curtain of mountains, it's possible that we just won't be able to get into position to stop him from doing stuff. Because if he wants to move down to a place where the mountains are narrower, we'll just be chasing him. Alright, the orcs are raiding Tilia. Hopefully that will make Tilia like us even more when we run over there and chop their leader's head off. I know that's not actually on our hero menu, but it seems like the sort of thing they could learn, right? What if we just equipped all of our heroes with really big axes? Just hurl them into the enemy command structure. Then again, to be perfectly honest, destroying the orc command structure probably wouldn't really have too much of an effect. They're all sort of arbitrarily following each other around in the first place. I don't know how much actual significance their leaders have. Alright, Midland. Nope, they really do want to do this. Well, hopefully we moved just far enough away that we can still attack them. So yeah, we can't just push them off and leave. The moment they think they see an opening, they're going back after Certosa. That's really annoying, actually. This is like a terrible waste of their time and also mine. Well, let's be honest. Who cares about their time? So we could just start putting together a new army in Elhake. Yarick can be on full-time Midland trapping duty for the moment, and we could still get our war against Greybeard's prospectors set up. We do have the money to do the recruitment right, and then recruit a pretty significant number of troops afterward. Yeah, it might be worth doing. The thing is, we have all of these exciting recruitment buildings in Elhake. I would not want to hire a cheap army. I would want to hire an army full of the fancy new dinosaur types, maybe an ancient salamander. So we're talking about a very expensive army, one that we probably cannot afford to actually run. Like, if you look, Tiktaq'to has all the points of upkeep reduction. What does that total out to? This is 15. This is another 8. And then keep in mind that he also gives a pretty significant reduction to the... Okay, I have too many army buffs at this point. Oh no, here. He gives a significant reduction to the upkeep cost of half of the units in his army, and he's still running 4,600 gold per turn. And that does not include the logistics cost of having another army. So we can expect another army to probably be considerably more expensive than this, even if it does use troops of the same relative level of complexity. It's just too much. Like, we don't have the money right now. Okay, we can't quite move all the way out here, but you know what I want to do? I want to move as close to the mouth of the mountain as I can while maintaining, or the mouth of the pass, rather, while maintaining at least 25% movement. And then we're going to go into ambush mode and hope that the orcs just stupidly wander into us, because that is totally a thing they might do. Especially if it looks like Granite Massif is empty again. Okay. So where do I want to position myself? Maybe the right play is just to move a little bit closer. And what I'm thinking here is our normal movement range isn't that far from him. What I want to try to do is be within normal movement range, but not so close that he can tell that that's what I'm doing. Oh, and what I also want to do is not end my turn in the attrition water. It's weird how there's one tiny spot of attrition water there. Okay, let's just pursue this guy around, hindering his replenishment over and over again. Well, I cannot catch a break on that. Alright, how's that got people feeling about us? Okay, it's improving our relationship with Bretonia slowly.
You have a proposal? We are willing to hear it.
Oh, please, please, please.
Never.
Man. Okay, what if we did a small payment? What if I gave you like 3,000 gold? It'll take us a while to make that back up, but it will also drive our opinion, or their opinion of us up even further, which is a thing that I do value.
A weak order.
Alright, well, I'm not going to give them all of our money, especially when it is probably the case that we can just hold off. Oh, hey! That's right, we do have the ability to trade with you. Okay, that's a little bit more cash per turn. Now that we have Granite Massif, we have that uninterrupted line of territory from our capital to theirs. Not why I did it, but it is a nice bonus. Dwarves. Hey, Midland. Any chance, since you're engaged in cowardice? Nope, okay. I was hoping maybe they just didn't want to fight us anymore, but they didn't know how to come over here and ask.
All here are honored not by me.
Well, we are currently trending up to 139. It is ridiculous that at this value we can't get a military access treaty, but we will live. Now, what are your options here? You could block his army to make it less mobile. I don't actually want to do that. I want them to be as mobile as possible. Let's go scout the Lost Plateau. Oh, another army there, slowly building up. It's alright, something tells me we'll be able to take them. So do we want to start recruiting another army right now? I mean, I think there are definitely compelling reasons to go for it. We just can't sustain it, though. Not yet, anyway. Gotta keep pursuing these cash upgrades. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, movement across the Badlands is a little erratic sometimes. Okay, definitely just keep pushing these. This is only another 50 gold when upgraded. Still, though. Just get it done. Okay, so we're doing the stuff we need to be doing over here. In the Golden Tower, we are definitely going to need a growth building if we ever want to be able to get these things leveled up. And then at 1438, I don't think there's anything in particular that we need to do. I guess we do want to put this on a pretty high priority. Do level 2 garrison building. Makes your garrison larger, but not large enough to actually serve as a deterrent to very many people. I think mostly what having a 13-unit garrison does is prevent people from rolling into your territory with like a half stack and just taking a bunch of cities. Because you can build up the level 2 garrison building in like 2 turns. You can do that very quickly in response to people marching on you. Man, pick up one trade agreement, lose another. Ah well, who wants to trade with elves anyway? They just don't understand the value of a good, colorful feather. That's a good lizard man-y trade good, right? Because most of the stuff we trade is definitely stuff where everybody recognizes its value. Like, we're very into gold. Oh, the greenskins have wogged. So the deal with this is that every greenskin army has a stat displaying how fighty they are as a horde, and if you can push your fightiness up high enough, damn it, goblin big bosses, if you can push your fightiness up high enough, a secondary army spawns of dudes who just are so in love with fighting, and they follow you around and fight stuff near you. It is an okay mechanic. It's really cool, flavorfully, like a kind of uncontrollable second ball of death shows up, but in practice, it really is hard to get much value out of it. And that's an area where, like, it's extremely thematically appropriate that it's hard to get good value out of it, because it's a bunch of crazed orcs just wandering around and punching everything. But sometimes in a video game, you have to surrender thematic elements a little bit in exchange for gameplay elements. Also, I don't know what's going on outside. Some sort of small yappy dog has never been angrier in its life. I can't even tell what they're... Are they trying to land? I mean, we kind of had that problem too, or at least we could have had that problem. I talked about it a little bit, where it's kind of weird to land on the beach around Sartosa. Because you can't just land there, you have to land there as part of an attack order, otherwise you can't enter the city's zone of control. And I guess what happened there is that the Midlanders were trying to land near the city first and then attack. And so it's like routing them around to that northern beach. But that's not gonna work. We have plenty of time to deal with that. I almost wonder if we could turn Yarick around and have him come back home, just because these guys seem to be so woefully incompetent that they might never be able to attack the city if we leave them to their own devices. His army's too large and strong for the half-stack from the Red-Crested Skink and Skaven Blight to be useful tactically against it. We're not going to be able to sneak up on them. We're not even going to be able to scare them into running into our other armies, because I'm sure they would just absolutely be overjoyed to fight a 10-stack. Especially one with so few giant dinosaurs. Alright, so only one Chaos faction still exists, it looks like. Actually, I wasn't paying enough attention to know if the War Herd was still up there. And our poor skink agents, they're just getting massacred nonstop. Oh, interesting. They didn't run far enough. We can totally catch them this turn. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do them in. This army's a little bit heavier on the flyers, which makes me a bit nervous given all of the rifles that they have. But I am tired of chasing these assholes around. If we take some losses, we take some losses. They do only have the 4 units of handgunners, right? So given the extremely large number of rocks we have, and the fact that they are all Fire Leech Bowler rocks, so none of those normal ones, everybody gets the flame damage, or the flame resistance debuff, rather. Hopefully we can take them out pretty quickly. Oh, they do have a unit of crossbows as well, so they have 5 units of gunners. Most of them sort of in the middle-y levels. This crossbowman is pretty underdeveloped. When ranged units level up, I believe their accuracy is affected. Like, higher level troops are more accurate than lower level troops. Unfortunately, it's not trivial to check that, because for some reason accuracy is not listed on the unit stat card. We might be able to do better than that. Nope, never mind. Okay, so they've set up 2 units of guns over here. I'm going to assume the rest are in the trees that way. I think what we maybe want to do here, actually, is have all of the Fire Leech guys together and just really bombard the hell out of them as quickly as possible. I also want to bring my dinosaurs over here. Okay, there we go. Just thinking, if they've split their ranged units in half, which we've seen a lot from AI factions, right? We want the ones over here to be functionally useless for as long as possible. This army's a little weird. Okay. Unfortunately, Yarick does not have enough skill points in magic to have arcane conduits. We're going to have to be a little bit careful with his stuff. I'm not really sure what his plan is. Try to get up there, and hopefully these chameleon skinks can provide a little bit of a distraction. They do have wizards as well. That's the thing we got to think about. You know what? Rather than this thing I'm doing, everybody just attack that guy. while we fly forward and maybe try to do a rock drop on the other ones. But we don't have to stop and fight. What I need you to do is this. A little bit of this. Alright, so they have wizards. They're going to run out of magic really quickly, though. I figure, is there anything in particular we want the Ancient Stegodon to be shooting at? We could try to kill their wizards, I guess. We do quite a lot of damage, don't we? Yeah, we have 422 largely armor-piercing damage. It's a shot every 10 seconds, but against wizard HP, it's probably pretty significant, right? Yeah, 3,200 HP, 3,600. Do I care about a Jade Wizard or a Bright Wizard more? Don't exactly know. We're gonna take on this Bright dude. And you can do that safely from back here. The rest of us are just gonna kind of hang back. As we do. As is our idiom. Okay, we've got a lot of the riflemen on the run, which is great, because they're not shooting while they're on the run. Oh my god, that dog. You know, you can, if you have a mind to do so, train a dog to not be so barky. Not a thing a lot of people seem to care to do, but it is possible. Is one of you is going to have to bomb the archers right away. You guys probably have to fall back pretty far. I'll try to get us to fan out a little bit as we approach them. Okay, we've almost got all their flyers. The chameleon skinks, I'm pretty sure I just didn't order them to back off because I'm trying to micro flyers and also be annoyed by this dog. And, you know, being annoyed by a dog, it takes up a lot of brain space. It's a lot of real estate. That was a premature drop there. Okay, not too... that is a unit of gunners. If we get them with the bombs, we will have bombed every unit of gunners at least once. Really have something all the way over? Oh yeah, I guess they do have their demigryph knights. Oh, demigryphs, hold on. Demigryphs aren't actually flying. They don't have wings. They just have bird faces. I totally forgot what a demigryph was. Have you guys do a little bit of this? Let's try to stay focused on these dudes, and we're starting to get closer to casting range for the slan, but we're not there yet. Alright, this is going to be pretty good, provided they keep running in just about that formation. Yeah, wow, not bad at all. Okay. Those guys are broken down. Let's take out... Oof. Still just a lot of them left. I will say, I think they're doing a better job of like using actual tactics than the last group of guys, the last couple of groups of guys that we fought were. Because they're positioning some units and then running other units away so that the units that they have positioned can shoot at us while we pursue. Really loved it if you guys were all together when we did this. Alright, they tried to juke back through us there. Alright, you guys can go and try to finish them off. You're working on that guy, you're working on that guy, okay. get back here and focus up a little bit. So they're trying to be real clever with the charging. It is not working. And we have entered a good spellcasting moment. We have also committed a bunch of Empire Knights to our Slan General here. I don't foresee this being a real problem. Let's turn on 22% damage resistance for ourselves. And my guess is that we're not going to see the direct damage spells be super good against those knights. We do not have Overcast Foz protection, which is a shame. Who really needs the buff? It's probably not actually the Slan. Yeah, these guys are about to be fighting the largest number of enemies. I'm going to have our Thunderous one change targets. In fact, I'm going to have our Thunderous one go over here and dinosaur these guys up. I think the Salamanders have this under control. Alright, so speaking of having things under control, how much do I need to keep manually targeting everybody over here? Looks like non-zero. Okay, who has rocks left? Try to thin these last 2 units of flyers out with another drop. Okay, almost all of their ranged units are now fleeing. The question is, okay, that guy permanently broken, we don't have to stick back and fight him. The question is, like, how many of my units run up into the actual melee now, right? And how much do we need to keep some flyers back here to keep doing this thing? Take these great swords. So yeah, the Demigryph Knights are getting hacked to pieces. The Red-Crested Skinks are actually really good killers. They know what they are doing. We could try a Soul Quench here. I'm thinking like the Halberdiers are a good target for some direct damage, because I would really love it if they did not kill my dinosaurs. We still have a little bit of work to do on these ranged units. Get them. Go ahead and get them. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty effective. Alright, this thing is terrible. You guys do not need to be all in melee on this one lord. Plan here is we split up, and then he's only going to be able to continue melee attacking one of you. Oh, he's changed his mind entirely. He wants to melee attack them. I think this might be a good time for some sort of defensive spell over here, because things are about to get pretty coated in explosions. So you guys keep working them. You should help with these Empire Knights. Okay. This part of the battle is nearly resolved. Those guys are running, but they're not permanently running. See this right here? This is what happens when they are not permanently running. Don't let them get away with that. Alright, so we're shooting lots and lots of explosives at their lord. Does anyone who is in the close group of dudes have rocks left? No, you have rocks left. Pretty low on guys with rocks left, which is a shame, because we got a real good rock situation going on over here. Right, you guys keep trying to withdraw. We'll keep salamandering their lord. Okay, turn off melee mode. Fire into those guys. We could throw out a wind blast. We don't have overcast or anything. Like, this guy is actually a remarkably bad caster still, but it's disruptive at least. Alright, right there looks pretty good. God, the rock throws, they're so beautiful. Okay, you can probably bail on that guy. You can definitely bail on that guy. Don't think those dudes are coming back. You lot need to get over here. We have important enemies to explode. Does anybody have a rock left? We do, in fact, have a rock left. No, attack. Just keep fighting. Alright, their lord here thought he was onto something with charging into my ranged units, but it doesn't seem to actually be working. Meanwhile, there are guys on top of the slan 100% of the time. Where's Rock Guy? You need to get over here. Is he the only one who has rocks left? Is in fact. Okay, well, it's going to take us a minute to get him into position. Get over here and kill these halberdiers. It's not like a totally ideal battle, but we just got to get them off of the slam. I don't know my spell icons very well yet, obviously. Okay, well, where's the rock guy? Here we are. Turns out it wasn't necessary. But I think we did that without losing any units. Yep, veterancy continues to accumulate. And they are just shattered. Even if they survive this battle and get to flee, which I think they might be able to. They might have moved in full sail mode, even though they didn't have to move a full sail distance, because the AI does sometimes do that. In which case, they'll just be completely annihilated. But even if they do survive the battle and back off, we would crush them completely trivially in the second attack. Just keep the skink skirmishers out of it. Although, honestly, if we lost those skirmishers, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, because we have so many of them in the pool, just waiting to be recruited. So hopefully we make a decent amount of money off of this, and also Midland goes away forever. Those are my two fervent hopes. They might be willing to do peace after losing an army. What on earth is taking so long to load out of the battles this episode? It's weird, right? It seems a lot longer than it was last episode. Okay, definitely want to take that replenishment. And, okay, 2,000 gold is not bad. That's not bad loot. Even more skink skirmishers. Hooray! And they did, in fact, get to run all the way around to the other side of the island. So the thing that's happening there... Are you... Oh, you are able to get renowned and feared now. That is pretty handy. And what's happening there is that post-loss retreat move, for some reason, moves you a certain distance away in a certain direction, but it's as the crow flies distance, it completely ignores terrain. So they did probably more than a normal full turn's worth of movement there. It's just a very annoying thing for them to get to do. Would it be beneficial to me to attack? I mean, I can't do any damage to that army or to the settlement. Can I take this guy out? I'm just trying to, like, get XP. The odds of me wounding myself are 6%. The odds of me wounding him are only about 3 times that. Yeah, go for it. Okay, we got very lucky there. Mostly I was just thinking, ooh, an additional 9% chance of wounding is awfully nice. Mostly there I was just thinking, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we got some XP? Even failing gets you XP. But actually, we got so much experience from that I think if we fail our next hero action, we might level up again, which is pretty cool. So, what do we want to do with Krokgar? Man, I guess what we do with Krokgar is, like, move over here and try to lay in wait. I don't know how good he is at ambushing. Yeah, unfortunately, Yarick is going to be indisposed for a minute. I really don't think we have enough income for another army, though. Oh yeah, the Crater of the Walking Dead should probably get upgraded. That's fair. Alright, I think we're just going to run one more sequence of enemy turns and then be done here. Cut this one a little bit shorter than the last couple have been. And at the beginning of the next turn, we'll try to sue for peace with Midland. We'll double check all of our allies again, see if any of them would like to give us any additional contracts. It is sort of crazy, though, that, like, the dwarves have some kind of distrust of lizardmen, and so hundreds of points of positive reputation are not going to be sufficient to even get us military access. And if you want to have relationship modifiers like that, where, like, just as certain groups, it's hard to be friends with other groups, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I wish that the values that different types of contracts would work at were a little bit more consistent. And if you're going to have something like, well, these two groups don't get along, it should be encoded as a modifier to the relationship value so that you can actually see it. They already have a negative diplomatic modifier called aversion, which I think is supposed to kind of represent that, but you know, like you can see, we are dramatically overcoming it in many of these cases and still unable to get, not even military alliances, but still unable to get, like, the middle level diplomatic agreements, which is crazy. These guys like us 109 points, and they are constantly begging for military and defensive alliances. The dwarves won't even let us walk across their lawn. I don't think he ran far enough away to avoid me catching him. I think we might have him there. It is a little bit of an annoying shame that he had to do it over here instead of, like, down there where we could easily have gotten into the port at Al-Haik. We can get on that beach on the northern part of Pyrrhus' island, but doing so is going to require considerably more movement than getting on land through the port, thus delaying our fight with the dwarves even more, which seems to have been Midland's only objective here. It's certainly the only thing they got anywhere near accomplishing. Aha, you fool! And here we can probably take the ambush, because ambushing gives you a tremendous benefit to your auto-resolve. Yeah. Good enough. And we do not need to fight that battle manually as well. But I think that just kind of broke them, it looks like, because that dude just ran out of the Lost Plateau. We're going to have a really easy time closing that up. And because human players get their replenishment at the beginning of their turn, our army is going to be completely good as new. Alright, the War Herd of Chaos does still exist, but they're pretty beaten up. It looks like the forces of the world have repelled the first Chaos invasion pretty well, with no help at all from me. Alright, let's get this over with real quick here. Ratok is ready to rock again. Oh hey, we determined the great plan, finally! So let's hit the diplomacy menu. Yes, all of the other lizard men hate us. That's never going to change.
Greetings, honorable ally. No!
As the game goes on, anybody that you're not making, like, constant positive inroads with is going to hate you more and more, because your great power modifier is going to keep increasing.
What? My hand
Alright,
hovers close
you guys
to
are
my
embarrassing
blade.
yourselves.
I don't agree.
Alright. We'll try again after we finish killing their army at the beginning of next episode. Maybe they'll be more receptive then. And then I'm sure the answer is no, but let's just see.
Greetings, stranger.
That's not even yellow anymore. Okay, people suck. But it's fine. We'll just subjugate them all. We'll just make them trade with us and love us through violence. That'll work, right? That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when we do to everyone else in the world what we did to Krokagar. It worked then, and it'll work now. We'll see you then.